All right, good day and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to a special Fuel Up Friday themed podcast. And I'm actually recording this with a couple days in advance because I'm trying to keep the Fuel Up Fridays, the new format for 2020, live in real time. So anyway, guys, for the video feed out there, I'm rocking a new t-shirt because I don't have enough t-shirts as it is. My Vail, Colorado shirt, because as I'm recording this today on January 28th, 2020. I just flew back and got home as of midnight last night from a week-long getaway in beautiful, epic, high-altitude, skiing-rich state of Colorado with my wife, Dr. Kristen Venstemacher, VMD. Anyway, so welcome back to another podcast show. Obviously, for the newer listeners and watchers on this feed, we're here to fuel your health, your business, and your lifestyle for going on almost 4 years on this podcast. And for 2020, this new Friday format is specifically a shorter context, 30 minutes or less, hit hard or hit fast on a topic that means something to me. So besides the fact that I've got a nice little good ski beard growing in here, the wife does not like beards, but I made sure to unleash its fury all week long in Colorado. So anyway, the topic and the title of this episode, I'm kind of tagging it as, hashtag Fuel Up Friday, but it's on skiing, healthy lungs, and high altitude gratitude. Now, why is that? Well, one thing I didn't realize was while we were away, I tried to unplug as much as possible. And it's hard for me to do. I've got multiple businesses. I've got the social feeds. My business runs social feeds for other people. And it's really important to build the infrastructure and the support systems to ensure you can unplug when possible. So there's your little tip of the day is get some groundwork laid, get some systems in place. It doesn't always happen overnight, but it will help you in the long run. Anyway, something actually I'm going to try harder on these newer live streams is actually keep the app open. So I've had people actually comment in the past while we were streaming live, and I got so much going on here with 3 different computer monitors and everything else that I still don't always leave the feed open to see what kind of comments are coming through. And a lot of times I'll give a shout out to Brian Strausser of the Strausser Project. He is our first ever ambassador of the Live the Fuel brand as of 2019. And knowing that hustling guy, he's probably out there making some sweet little old ladies home amazingly beautiful because he has a magic talent for OCD home improvement. That's right. That's right, Brian. You are a fellow passionate OCD mofo like myself. Anyway, guys, back to the topic at hand here. First off, gratitude, skiing, high altitude, all that. Why? Well, number one, for those of you who haven't followed my brand in a long time, besides fire being in the logo, I spent many years ski race coaching, learning the ways of the skier since I didn't learn to ski till I was 18. And it's a true example of surrounding yourself with people that are better than you, not just in the business space or in the inspirational space, but coming down to the basics of the fundamentals of athletics. So anyway, I love the fact that I met a woman who, number one, can put up with my craziness, but number two, can hang and rip some serious snow. So a lot of times, it's actually for the regular listeners, you guys know that March, well, basically St. Patrick's Day 2019, I just got married. So we haven't even come up on a 1-year anniversary yet. And obviously, since we're skiers, the theme of that wedding was a heli skiing wedding. That's right, helicopters, backcountry skiing, etc., up in Banff, Canada, and British Columbia. So basically, the Alberta province and the British Columbia province in Canada, almost 1 year ago. But being it's January, not there yet. So, real quick for the video feed, I'm going to do some screen sharing here because I just love the beauty of Colorado. So I'm going to show some stuff off of the actual Facebook page. And there we go. We've got, that's a shot of me. Actually, this was our last day of skiing. We decided to head over to Beaver Creek, which is a big mountain owned by Vail Resorts, not in Vail, a separate mountain. And this shot and this pitch doesn't do it justice, but this is the famous Birds of Prey, an Olympic level professional ski racer downhill course And they choose not to groom it because jackasses like me will probably want to haul ass down it and try and be a professional ski racer because I like to go fast. Well, let me tell you, you don't want to go fast on this one. And that's why in the photo here, you can see it's a little bumped up. And for people listening to this, obviously when I'm doing these, I'm talking about visuals. You can go watch this on YouTube. Obviously I'm streaming this live on the Live the Fuel feed here on Facebook. So you just go back and look at the posts from Tuesday, January 28th. But anyway, guys, follow me on Instagram too. You have the Live the Fuel feed on, and we also have the Scott W. Mulvaney feed. I have 2 Instagram feeds. One's more personal, one's more professional. But either way, I'm always trying to cycle in a little taste of the lifestyle. And I know from this week and last week, there's definitely some posts up there, some short videos, ripping some powder. And that was part of my gratitude is that, again, when we travel, sometimes, I don't know if it's me, I don't know if it's my wife, we just don't always get the fresh powder. And it's very frustrating sometimes. So, but with the wedding, we had to plan things so far in advance that we knew it was hit or miss. You either get fresh powder or you didn't. So there was not dumping when we were up there back in March. But obviously this week we definitely had some fun because let me actually navigate back here, see if I got some other photos to show you guys on the visual feed. But dude, we had some epic dumps. I mean, they were predicting 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches tops per day on actual dump sessions. Basically, I think it was like Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday. And then that turned into like 11 to 12 inches. So that's one thing I love about Vail. Obviously, I was just talking about the birds of prey on Beaver Creek, which also gets dumped on. But also, Vail itself is famous for its back bowls. And let me tell you, it dumped. And we were so ecstatically happy. There was a lot of issues with low visibility. And we just did not care because when you have fresh snow coming down and it's also midweek and it's after a holiday, so there wasn't as many people there as you would normally expect, you can enjoy a lot of untouched terrain with fresh tracks and just amazing, amazing snow. So actually, here you go. Let me screen share again. I disabled that because I was trying to get other photos to load. And here we are. That's a shot of me coming down. I believe this is Blue Ox. Yes, Blue Ox in Vail, Colorado. And you can see the snow dancing off of my kneecaps as I'm in mid-turn here. And yes, it was that deep. And yes, it was that soft. And oh my God, I'll have no problem saying this as a skier, it was quite orgasmic. That's right, I went there. Anyway, I'll have to go back here and find some other cool shots while I'm talking to you guys. Anyway, so this is something, a piece of the lifestyle of Live the Fuel, right? And obviously the inspiration behind what we do here. But man, I'm telling you guys, if you're not an outdoors enthusiast, you got to find a way to do it. I mean, granted, in the spring and the summer and the fall, you'll see me posting a lot more about mountain biking or road cycling. I do a lot of big endurance rides, especially for charity. And I love pedaling a bike. And because it gets you outside, it unplugs you, it helps you shut the brain down in some areas and activate other areas, especially from a creative or just clearing out the stress of work, etc. But man, skiing is the same way. Skiing, let me tell you, I mean, I get out there and sometimes I get frustrated because maybe I'm not skiing as well as I should, or I might need a day or two to warm up. Or in this case, we skied 7 days straight. And back to gratitude, I'm grateful that I've kicked my own ass over the years to stay healthy, to stay fit. It's not just a part of my message here, right? Fueling your health, business, and lifestyle. It's truly, I take a personal responsibility, not just to you all, the listeners or my fans on social media, but just innocent people I come across day in and day out. I want to set an example, man. Hey, dude, I'm 6'4", 190 pounds. I'm lean, mean, fighting machine. I love CrossFit. I love biking. I love skiing. But the reason why I can do all these things is because I have to constantly reset the mindset, right? I have to constantly find ways to keep the stress down. I have to find ways to keep life worth living, keep it fun, keep it adventurous. And that's where these sports come in. I have no problem. If anybody watches this and hears me say this on this episode or others, feel free to try and call me out. But dude, if you're stuck behind a TV, playing video games and watching movies all day, pull your head out of your ass. Seriously, you're an idiot. I don't care, male, female, doesn't matter. That's right, we're crossing all genders here. If you're stuck behind a video game machine and basically destroying your vision, so you end up with glasses the rest of your life, or possibly macular degeneration. There's all kinds of health impacts to your eyes and eyesight staring at a computer screen too long. I've got 3 screens right here. This is why I own blue block glasses in the evening. Luckily, it's still daylight outside. Here we go. Move the curtain open here. Window. That's right. It's still daylight, so I haven't put the glasses on yet. But guys, get outside. We were meant to be outside. Okay, we're stuck in offices. We're stuck in, I'm in my home studio here at the house, but we are stuck in buildings most of our lives. So if your life is behind a TV screen, or stuck on a couch, or stuck in a desk or a cubicle, because I've been there, man. All right, I was a farm kid. Remember, anybody who's been following the show for a while, farm kid turned corporate monkey, thinking that's what I wanted, turned wilderness firefighter. That's right, outdoors, wildland at its extreme, and then back again, becoming an entrepreneur, figuring it out, but staying outside, getting outside whenever I can, having the adventures. That is part of the gratitude message, is that I'm grateful that not just myself personally, but others around me have helped me build that circle of influence, right? To appreciate physical fitness, which also transpires into mental fitness, right? The mental health is totally tied to your physical health. Those of you who might be a little pissy because I called you out about video games and too many movies, I'm not saying I don't go watch a movie. Dude, love a good movie. Like, honestly, I still haven't seen the new Star Wars. You know I'm going to go see that. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm on vacation, I think I'm going to do that this week. And I will probably go alone because my wife likes to say that I'm a weirdo. That's right. I like to, especially after a week long, I love her. But I'm like, dude, I need to go unplug by myself, go to a movie theater. They got this cool little one near us here. It's got all the fancy recliner, like red leather looking like movie chairs. And I can go there, reserve my own seat, sit by myself. Nobody tries to talk to me during the movie. But even I will go see the occasional movie and I save it. It's like a reward. I feel like watching movies is a reward, especially the way I grew up, man. I can still remember way, way, way back. I remember my parents had a black and white TV. We only had one. Now there's kids with there's TVs in their bathrooms and their bedrooms. Like, I mean, there's kids walking around that are 10 years old or younger with iPhones, and iPhones are basically a portable TV. iPads, iPhones, watching movies. It's crazy. All right, it's pandemonium. Get outside. That's right. Unplug. Put your damn phone down. Put your iPad down. Get outside. And I'm not saying you got to become an amazing skier or an amazing mountain biker. Go for a walk. Go for a stroll. Even if you might be overweight or you have lung issues or et cetera, there's my segue, little hint, lung issues, you can still build up slowly. The biggest first step is putting in the reps, is starting with the very first rep. And yes, you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days and you're going to have rainy days and foggy days and cold days and too hot days, blah, 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 blah. There's tons of excuses. But for God's sakes, people, if you just stay inside 85% of your life, you will not be healthy. I don't need to be a scientist to confirm that. There's plenty of scientists I can bring up that have probably been on this show over the years that can back that up. But if you're not getting outside and enjoying Mother Nature's beauty, the fresh, clean air, get on a road trip, dude. Go on a bike ride, go on a run, go on a walk, go on a hike, whatever it's going to take. Slowly start putting in the reps and start embracing the great outdoors, because that's part of this message of today's episode, guys, is you need to get outside, okay? You need to experience what this planet has to offer, not just all the synthetic components that we, granted, through our own genius have created, but have also become our downfall. You got to unplug, people. You got to get the technology out, okay? It's good to get outside. That's the message, right? But now part of that other message is, okay, not just skiing. So obviously we did over 127,000 vertical feet of skiing over 7 days. Some of those days had 21 to 23,000 feet up and down, getting on the tram, getting on the lift, whatever. I mean, that's the beauty of being out west is if you ski an East Coast mountain, like near here, Blue Mountain, where I live, dude, you can do a run in 2 minutes. Out there, you could be on a ski run for 5, 10, even 20 minutes, depending on where you're at. If you're in the back bowls, if you're up over 11,000 feet, like Vail's got, if you go to Breckenridge, for example, it's over 12,000 feet. It's amazing. But part of that little backstory a few seconds ago, or about a minute or so ago, I hinted about lung health, right? Like getting outside and breathing the air. So while on a vacation this week, I did hop on the apps once or twice while, enjoying a glass of a beverage of my choice. That's right, a little bit of scotch. And, it's vacation. And I realized, oh my God, this is the 1 year anniversary this week of my collapsed lung adventure. So there you go. If you're a new listener and watcher, yeah, I screwed up a year ago and accidentally created a spontaneous pneumothorax, AKA partially collapsed lung, which I had for like 2-3 weeks. Thought I was just getting sick. Luckily, I was healthy and fit enough to be that resilient. Doesn't justify it in any stretch of the means. You just talk to my lung surgeon, because that's right. It led to lung surgery. We could not plug the hole, so to speak, that had popped open, ergo a blister, and they couldn't find them because they're so small. So they had to literally skin the top of my lung off and heal it and blah, 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 and 8 days later. But it was cool. It was a great, I guess, awakening or reawakening, even only 1 year later, appreciating life, knowing that, oh my God, only 1 year later. And by the way, actually, let me rewind this. I mean, the collapsed lung was in January, right? So in March, only 2 months later, less than 2 months later, I had to be healthy enough to go do a heli skiing wedding in the high mountains of the Canadian Rockies, right? So, that was a little stressful. Besides the fact I had to get married. But again, fast forward 1 year later, I'm like, dude, I'm still healthy. I'm still fit. I'm rocking it. I'm ripping 127,000 vertical feet over 7 days in the beautiful mountains of Colorado, Vail, Beaver Creek. Shout out to my wife's parents. They have a house in Edwards, which totally helps us, by the way, cut the cost of travel. Dude, helps to know people. If you got a house, that's one less bill you got to have. No hotels, no resorts. It's a nice little touch. But again, back to gratitude. Reminding ourselves, and not just you guys, but myself, that, dude, I'm still alive. I'm still putting in the reps. I'm back to being healthy and fit enough to represent and get outside and rip it on a ski slope or rip it on a mountain biking trail. So that's part of this message as well, is, man, not just staying healthy and fit, but being able to bounce back and become even more healthy and even more fit, and then allowing myself the same freedoms to not hold myself back, to know that mentally I can move forward and physically and ski harder, ski faster, now as a married man, and still keep taking these trips, these adventures. We're literally, we just got back and we're already planning another ski trip at the end of February. So a month from now, we're looking at either at last week of February or first week of March, going back out west again, this time with a bunch of friends. This was a solo trip for my wife and I, and just catching up with friends of mine over the years that are still living in Colorado. But now we're talking about putting a bunch of our local peeps here on the East Coast, and we're going to head back out. And we might be heading to either Crested Butte, Colorado, Telluride, Colorado, or we're considering Utah, because I haven't skied Utah in years and I love it. That's a whole different level of snow. I could geek out about Utah on a whole separate podcast. But again, this is Fuel on Friday, people. So part of this messaging is also not just having the time freedom and the health and fitness freedoms, but also the financial freedoms. This was probably one of my most successful business years yet. I'm still finalizing the numbers of the taxes, and I got to hand everything off to my accountant. But I love the fact that I can afford to do these things with my wife, and can afford to do another trip only a month later that we're planning now. And so that's some shout out to more gratitude. But also, and this isn't, again, guys, for newer listeners, this is not about me patting myself on the back. I'm reminding you and myself that, dude, this didn't happen overnight. And there's going to be speed bumps and ripples along the way. Like, I'm a hard charger, dude. I'm a former, I spent 2 years, only 2 years, being a hotshot wildland firefighter, beat the living shit out of myself. Changed my world, still finishing the book about that. Going to be giving that all back to fallen firefighters, all for charity. But, over the years, launching the LIVETHEFUEL brand purely out of inspiration. It wasn't even a brand. I know what the hell it was. Multiple logo shifts, developing a social media feed for that, developing through podcasts, this very podcast, and then being invited on other people's shows to talk about my brand and my story, or just to help them with their own brands and their own stories. It's crazy, right? Like, didn't plan any of this. And then 2019, man, launching the Fuel Foundations, my new nonprofit that the book will also benefit. It's like all of these things are just happening. You just got to roll with it, and but also you got to pause and slow down and appreciate it, and share the gratitude message so we can all be reminded, including myself. Like, oh my God, dude, I'm so grateful that I did not die from collapsing my lung, even though they told me it was a life-threatening injury. And I, spent 8 days in a hospital, but luckily my entrepreneurial insurance covered it. So because I found out later the total bill was $135,000 to fix my lung after only being in the hospital for 8 days. It's crazy. That's another whole podcast, man. The problems with our health insurance industry in this country. Whew. But let me just get past the negatives, and let me go back to another piece of the gratitude, which is having the health and the fitness and also the people around me to keep me going. I've changed my circles of influence over the years many times. Sometimes people come in, sometimes people go out. You just got to roll with it. Don't worry about hurting people's feelings. Don't be afraid to put yourself first. But something cool this past week was I actually got to connect with a bunch of people that I haven't seen in a few years. Shout out to Bill Nagel. He's one of the guys that got me into my first hardcore distance road cycling event. He invited me into his inner circle of road cyclists outside of Philadelphia. So every year in the fall, we used to do, well, they still do, a big road cycling event called the MS 150 that benefits multiple sclerosis. So you do 75 miles down to the Ocean City, New Jersey, stay the night, and then bike 75 miles back the next day. And up until this biking event, you're raising money online or getting people to donate to you. And this is their annual pilgrimage. And then these guys are crazy enough that on the day one option, you can opt out, or should say opt up, and make it a 100-mile day. So instead of doing the MS 150, you're really doing an MS 175 because crazy nutballs like us decided to do a full 100 miles on the first day. So I did that for 5 years with those dudes. And then over the years, when I moved out west and then moved to Colorado after Arizona, Bill actually moved out to Colorado with another biking buddy of mine, shout out to Andy Chrisman, who's now the sole owner of Pedal, huge bike shop, very successful bike shop in Littleton, Colorado. And Bill and Andy, co-founded it. So I haven't actually been able to hang with Bill in a while, and because he since retired and sold the whole business all over to Andy, and now he lives in Colorado. Him and his wife sold their houses here in Pennsylvania and moved out there. And dude, he's like, hey man, I hear you're in town. So we got to ski with him for a whole day. It was great. I haven't skied with him in years, even though he and I both know each other more from the biking world. And then I was texting and messaging one of my old ski race athletes and fellow, younger coach, but fellow coach. So shout out to Chris Cassidy. And that guy lives up in Fort Collins, and he made the journey out. He was trying to get another guy, Jeremy Shank, another one of our racers, to join him who also lives in Fort Collins. They both, I can't remember if it's me or not. I know it's definitely one of the supporters that told these dudes to move to Fort Collins, Colorado. So I'm grateful to be able to at least reconnect with one of them, see that he's doing well. He seems to be in a happy relationship, still skis like a raped ape, man. The guy's good. I mean, he kicked my ass on a set of skis. So it was great reconnecting with them. And then my wife invited up a gentleman by the name of Paul and his girlfriend, or fiance now, I think fiance, or maybe they're married. Man, I can't keep track of this anymore. But anyway, they made it up, and it was actually his birthday weekend. So we got to help him enjoy his birthday, and we got to ski. And his girl has survived amazing health challenges and journeys. But man, her attitude, you could tell anybody who could survive. Well, basically, they thought she had cancer and put her through chemo and then realized it wasn't. And then she actually has MS. Like, dude, there's a misdiagnosis. So, again, summing this whole piece of the podcast up, which is the gratitude, right? Having the connections and the ability to reconnect with people and get back on the snow or on a bike or whatever and just enjoy quality time with people. Besides the fact, again, over all of this, we got to spend time with my wife's parents, who are also retired and had that house out in Colorado. And it gives us a nice cost reduction on our vacation planning. So anyway, guys, that's the big summation, right? That's why I titled this podcast Fuel Up Friday on skiing, healthy lungs, and high altitude gratitude. Because let me tell you, when you are at high altitude, which Colorado is considered, um, things do feel a little higher. And it's not just because it's a marijuana state. It's just because, man, the air is thinner. You got to work a little harder, and it helps you appreciate, I think, a little bit more around your health and your fitness. And it's cool seeing other people level up their game when they are put through something as challenging as just simply thinner air, less oxygen. It's real. I can tell you, when I lived in Colorado, I was even healthier than I am now, I truly believe, because everything I did was at altitude. Like I mountain biked, road biked. I was hiking 14,000 foot peaks. I was skiing. Everything was where I lived in Golden, Colorado. Golden's at 6,000 feet. Denver's at 5,000 feet. Well, here in Pennsylvania, where I live, I'm at like barely 1,000 feet. So definitely a different level of training, overall health, overall fitness, lifestyle shifts, etc. So we're gonna shut this episode down. That's your Fuel Up Friday message. We're recording this on Tuesday, January 28th. It'll be airing this Friday to help close the week out. And it's crazy, right? Because I'm literally back as of midnight last night, Monday night. And today, a little home office day. Then I'll hit some travels over the next 2 days on some business in New Jersey. And then take another home office day Friday. And then I'll have Saturday for one down day. And then Sunday, I'm actually flying to Florida for more business. This is actually, some back to the grind, people. Head down to Florida for one of the biggest industry conferences for the HVAC industry, all about indoor air quality and your comfort that we all take for granted, whether it's summertime or wintertime. But obviously my biggest client and business partnership is with Sales Management Solutions, formerly Physics. So shout out to Jennifer. And but anyway, guys, I'm back to the grind, guys. So hey, there it is. Podcast's gonna keep rolling out. I'm gonna keep rolling with this solo theme on the Fuel Up Friday. That's the only time we're gonna air these episodes is on a Friday. The rest of the long format shows that are hour or less, or sometimes more, will continue to air as they've always have, with amazing guest co-hosts. Today is Tuesday, the 28th of January. We aired an epic episode. So shout out to Professor Dr. Dom D'Agostino, aka Dominic D'Agostino, the man behind KetoNutrition.org. Dude is viral, he is smart, and he does some serious healthy research behind the ketogenic way of life. So anyway, guys, I'm going to unplug. I'm going to help you guys enjoy the rest of your week by airing this Friday. Enjoy your weekends. And if anybody's down in the Orlando area of Florida, that's where I'll be from Sunday until I fly back Wednesday night next week. So anyway, guys, remember, #Fuel Up Friday, #Fuel Up. Appreciate life. Share gratitude whenever possible. And remember, we're here to fuel your health, your business, and your lifestyle. And we'll talk to you guys again soon.